Leeds, I think they have very clear DNA, you know, how they are, how they behave, the character, that passion and energy that they play with, you know, and they've been doing it for a long, long time. And now with a new manager as well, with some new ideas, some players that they've been injured as well, which they have some issues with, they are back right now. So a very dangerous team that we discussed that openly and very clearly what we're going to expect tomorrow, and we're going to have to be really good to beat them.
Playing in Emirates, they had always around 70% of possession. Then you have to be ready to defend more than attack. First of all, you have to be ready to defend more than attack. And then when you are attacking, try to be aggressive, try to be clinical, try to take advantage the chances you have. But for sure, you need to make a very good defensive work. If you don't do it, you don't have any chance.
Thank you. Well, for Arsenal, this is a game that, especially if Man City do pick up all 3 points in the early kickoff, Arsenal will think they have to win unless it goes the way Darren Lewis is expecting it to, where it's all going to capitulate and they're going to lose their lead at the top. Darren, these poor Arsenal fans crying at home now.
No. Be happy after they beat Leeds this weekend. It will be tough. I think I didn't realise this. Leeds have taken points of 5 of the top 6 in the Premier League. It's a really good record. And I think they've responded well to Javi Gracia coming in. But I just think Arsenal got too much. They've won their last 6. They're in terrific form. Bukayo Saka's been sensational in the international break as well as in the regular season. You know what it's like when you're in a team playing with the confidence Arsenal are.
Yeah, for me, Arsenal, I think this will be as easy a fixture as they'll come across for the rest of the season. Leeds are an unknown quantity to a certain extent, and they've done well under the new manager. I think they've got two wins and a draw in the first 4 Premier League games under him, which, if they can keep that up, will keep them in the Premier League. But I think it's just too big of an ask at the Emirates with Arsenal in the form they're in, and we mentioned Saka and what he's doing. He always seems to find a way of creating or scoring a goal, and I think Arsenal will continue.
When you said a minute ago that you didn't think City would be able to catch Arsenal, is that down to Arsenal or is that down to City dropping points, do you think?
Listen, I think there's loads of twists and turns. I don't think that City have been the usual Manchester City that we've seen. When Arsenal went through a little bit of a sticky patch, I think it was sort of end of February.
Yeah, City, 3 without a win at that point.
City at that stage would normally just drop it a gear and they would go and they'd be out of sight. They haven't done that this season. They just can't seem to find that momentum, really. I'm not sure what I can put it. There seems to be a little bit of unsettlement in the camp. Obviously, the boy going to Bayern Munich. Cancelo going to Bayern Munich. De Bruyne is in and out. I don't know, it just doesn't seem a totally happy camp. And for me, I think City will drop points. I think Arsenal will along the way, but I think Arsenal just do enough to win it.
And how much of that is down to the form of Bukayo Saka? How good has he been?
I think he is one of the most influential players in the Premier League, in so much as he has that X factor to make things happen. You talk about having the key to the lock. He's got the credit card. You know, I mean, he always seems to find a way when other people don't. And for his age, he's only 21. He's got such maturity, his ability to handle the pressure of these games, and that must be quite hard when you're that young. But he makes it look easy.
Yeah, he does. And for me, we have a lot.
You're quite old in the Premier League, Glenn.
Well, that is true, Jill. Thank you for that. For me, I think that he learned a lot from the Euros when he missed the penalty. He grew up a lot as a person, I think, and he came out the other side much better than what he went into it. And we have a lot of talent in this country around Bukayo's age. But for me, he affects games. And to find players that affect games, sometimes he might be quiet in the game, but then he'll create something or he'll score a goal. And they're hard to find, really hard to find. Somebody that affects a Premier League game week in, week out, consistently. And at his age, I think it's fantastic.
Will it be pleasing for Mikel Arteta to have seen how well he did for his country as well in the international break? Because ordinarily when players leave their club, especially when there's so much to play for, the panic is about them picking up an injury while they're away. But actually, to see him shine on the international stage, it must have pleased him as well.
I think it did. I mean, I was at the press conference. I was at the game before the international break, and that was the question we asked Arteta. Are you nervous, given the last time the players all went away with their countries? Gabriel Jesus came back injured. And he said, no, they've got to go and let the chips fall where they may. And he said the great thing about the period after they came back was that every other player stepped up. Eddie Nketiah stepped up, you know, midfielders, Odegaard stepped up, did a real captain's job. Other players step up, and that's what, as you were saying before, Arsenal can do. There are other players who can step into the breach. I do have one quick question.
Go on.
Right?
Is it for me or
Who
for
for?
Ben? I'm a bit worried.
And everyone at home as well, right? If Arsenal win the league, right, and obviously Saka's a huge part of that, but Haaland scores 40 goals. Say 45 goals. It will be the most goals they ever scored. He breaks the record, the scoring record for the Premier League 38-game season. Who was the Player of the Year?
That's such a difficult question.
And I ask it because us journalists, we got our forms through to vote for the Football Writers Player of the Year
Who did you
today.
put then?
Well, I can't decide.
Okay.
Basically, you're asking
you
us
asked for
to
advice.
choose for you.
That's why I'm asking for your help.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I just think that Haaland would have done something no one else has ever done.
Yeah, if he breaks...
And for me, not because he plays well every week, because I think some of his... I think he can get better.
Yes.
I mean, his finishing ability and his runs and everything around the box is brilliant. I think his hold-up play can get better. I think he can get more involved in games. But to do something that he's done and possibly hit 40 goals, the first man ever to do it in the hardest league in the world, you've got to give it to him.
Yeah, I concur. I agree with that.
I agree.